All right, guys, we're going to call the meeting to order. And let me get my book out here. My book is not here. What happened to our books, guys?
Cutting costs.
Is that what it is?
No.
All right, well, I'm going to have to unhook this thing because you can't turn the pages. Okay. First thing to do is roll call. Mr. Howell.
I'm here.
He's on the phone. Okay, Paul, Chad, here, and I'm here. I'll stand you the Pledge of Allegiance and get somebody in the audience to lead it. Bobby back there, you know what it is, don't you? Can you lead us? Pledge.
Yes.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, folks. Any communications or
No communications, and
anybody wanting to speak
Mr.
to our
Wilkerson,
group?
did you want to speak, or we'll discuss your matter under executive session? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, there's nobody on the floor to wants to speak.
Okay, how about the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting? What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meetings.
Right.
Meeting.
Motion on the floor. Seconded by Paul. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, let's all vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
All right, monthly chemical cost report. Bob Davis.
We're up just a little bit from last month. That's got to do with the river. You see the Delpac stayed the same, so we haven't gotten a whole lot of mud, but the pH level has changed. Maybe some iron manganese a little higher, so we're using potassium a little more caustic due to the pH. Having to raise it back up, but all in all, it all looks pretty good.
Any questions, guys, about? None. All right, we'll accept them as you presented it. Let's move on to the next item.
All right, vendor history reports. This is for month and year end, August 31, 2024. Jason Farrell.
Answer anybody's questions if they have any, other than that, it's just your normal Wednesdays, normal everyday home business with those.
Where we're still on target as far as budget year to date and all that.
Yeah,
With all these bills you're paying.
well, you know, that would be.
All right. Paul, you have any questions? Chad?
No.
Not. Okay, let's have a motion to approve the report as presented.
Make a motion that we approve the reports presented, the financials.
Okay, moved to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Account for water loss for month ending July 31, 2024. Jason Farrell.
Grab the wrong one.
I have a copy of this month's here. Sorry.
I grabbed the wrong one, I grabbed it in the last year one. All right, and the percentage, loss to finish for the month of July was 17.27. And the total unaccounted for was 16.21, and we finished out the year last year at 16.83, so we're starting the year out better than we finished the year last year, so.
That's pretty good.
And hopefully that number keeps on going down.
We're trying to get below 15. It's the ultimate, so I mean, not the
Pretty
ultimate,
close.
but that's what we want to do. All right, Paul, any questions about the report? Okay,
I grabbed last
Chad, any?
No.
Okay, well, let's move on because we're trending in the right direction there.
All right, unaudited financial statement. This is for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Jason Farrell.
year. Well, I'm going to give you this here, because I printed this out today here. That's not part of your financial sheet, but that covers the basics of your financials.
Want to make sure to give one to Paul. There you are.
Yep.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. It on phone.
So this is a snapshot of what you're,
Yeah, that's snapshot of what's in here. I don't know if you guys got a chance to review it or not, but I will be submitting this to the auditors probably sometime next week. And hopefully get them scheduled. I've got all their support documents that I normally provide them ready to go. So that was my goal, is to get it uploaded to them and see if I can get a date or sometime in October to get our audit done.
do you have any concerns?
We're actually pretty good last year. I mean, our water sales, and I kind of expected that. they were, well, we go down the list here. We finished out the year
I sent that to you, Paul.
on cash on hand. We spent about 2.66 million cash on hand at the end of the year. That's the, increase in cash of 249,000 from the prior year. Our, our restricted cash was at 6.2 million. Which is a decrease of, restricted assets of 737,000. And then we had an increase in capital assets by 1.8 million. Our increase in, decrease in current liabilities was 316,000. Our total bond debt at the end of the year was 3.7 million, which was a
3.8 was it?
0.3,
3.8,
yeah. Oh, 8,
869,
yeah,
which would be almost
8.7. And then, so it increased bond debt of 672,000. We paid $373,000 on our bonds. We finished the year debt service at 6.07. Now, our water sales, we were under budget by 7.27%. And what explain that is basically we had, Tri-County not buying water off of us for the majority of the year. And, Salem fixed their big leak that was accounted in their last 6-7 years worth of billings. When they fixed it back in October of last year. So that really dropped they went from, us billing from anywhere from 10 to 12 million gallons a month down to 5 to 6 million gallons a month. So
we lose that revenue, but on the other hand, it's a good way to lose it because that's the community suffers when they have those big leaks.
So
So it's good news for them at Salem.
and
It's a
it's
great
back-
job.
And it fixed the leak, that's saving the residents, but it hurt us. Because we were,
We
we counted that as part of our budget.
budgeted for it because historically it's been the case.
Yes.
But it's again, in the big scheme of things, it's not major.
That made our total revenues under budget by 5.39%. And then, but the good news is we were under budget with our, operations expenses by 8.84%. So we were under budget there, so that helped out a lot. And then our chemical budget, we were roughly at 90.65%. So we still had a little over 9% for chemical budget left from last year.
All right.
But, if you have any questions, these will be the documents.
Now, one just have to be submitted right away, doesn't it, pretty quick?
Just go straight to the auditor.
I'm just gonna submit it straight, I gotta submit it straight to the auditor, so I got my share done, I've done my reviews multiple times. And, I'm comfortable with getting ready to send it to the auditor, so my goal is send it till probably early next week, so I can go ahead and get them.
And when they
ready
get
for the
this
audit.
stuff, did they run tests on it? I mean, to check all
Yeah,
the way through.
Yeah, they do the sampling, they do their
I
sampling.
mean, they don't do everything, but they have a procedure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had at the bank too.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else?
He just need to approve it.
Okay, guys, Paul, first of all, before we approve, any questions, Paul?
No.
Okay, I think Jason probably tried to send you a picture of this snapshot.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow along with it. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Will Chad, any
No,
comments?
no comment.
Okay, well, hey, good job again. Thank you very much. We vote will be in order to approve this submission. Paul, you want to make it? To approve,
I'll make the motion, yes.
to approve the financial statement.
My second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's move on.
Right, we have no invoices or quotes to present, so we'll move right on to the general manager's report. Chestnut Street Water Line Project. We'll start with an update from Dave Burns in the back there. Dave?
All right.
I think we can see the end, right?
We definitely see the end. We just put a cap on this morning. That was the final cap we need to make.
Okay.
So all the tie ends, caps, taps and everything is done at this point. The only thing we have to do is there's a tap saddle we gotta replace like later this week or as soon as possible.
Did we get the air out of the line?
Yeah, the air's out.
So you got it out with what you put in there as
Yeah.
temporary?
Yeah, that temporary tap was put in just about the air out so we can get it tested and
So it's in service.
Yes, it's in service, it's on right now. The sludge basins, we got it tied back in yesterday. So everything's done, the only thing we have to do is replace that tap saddle, and then paving and clean up. After that, we'll be done.
Oh, long time coming, isn't it?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, his supervision, has been, you know, been a long project, it's been an ever-changing project. But, for his first project overseeing from start to finish, yeah, I mean, he's been on it every day.
Appreciate that, man.
The project's been a success, so thank you, Dave.
And I haven't passed, but we're seeing it. Been a lot, like Jason said, there's been a lot of changes all the way through this.
We know.
Worked the way we planned, and
We're about ready to get the street resurfaced. This is good
it'll
news.
be, they're talking Monday, we will be blacktopping this Chestnut Street.
And then follow up with
And
the
then-
getting all of our lots done after that.
Yeah,
So that's
as
gonna
long
be
as
on-
they don't get pulled somewhere else, they'll do our lots properly Tuesday.
That's great.
All right.
Very good. We don't have any actionable items that need to be taking place in regards to any cost estimates or pay requisitions or anything like that.
All
So,
righty.
moving right on to Doug's area, Water System Improvements Project Phase 3A. I know you've got some good news to tell us.
Whoa.
We are going out.
That got my attention.
We will be in the paper on Friday. And next Friday, advertise for all 4 contracts on those. We will then advertise again the following Friday and open bids, I believe, on October the 15th.
Yes.
We
Pre-bid.
will- Yeah.
Later this month.
Yeah. We have a pre-bid in there and it's mandatory, so all of the potential bidders will have to show up for that.
Is that going down here? Is that done at your office?
It'll be done at our office.
And that's mandatory pre-bid.
A couple of reasons we did it. We're expecting a large crowd because remember also in contract number 4, we will be working with the city doing the sanitary sewer at that time. So
You've got a large conference room.
we've got a large conference room and we kind of figured it's somewhat of a neutral place to have everybody there.
Good deal.
So, again, I believe it's at 10 o'clock. Now, our intention to do this, to kind of keep everybody, I'll say honest, is that all contracts will be due at 10 o'clock. And then we will basically randomly select which contracts we open first, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. After each opening, then we will give like a 15-minute period so that a contractor may withdraw their bid without penalty before going on to the next one. The reason we're afraid if we don't do that, what we'll get is somebody is going to keep their bids high because they don't want to get 2 bids sometimes. And so we want the least expensive one possible. The reason we have them all to deliver them at the same time is because as if we don't do that and they know which order they will be in, then typically the bids rise as you go up because they've already got some work. So let's just put in a bid and then we'll do that. So again, we'll require all of them to be bid at 10 o'clock. And we'll basically draw out of a hat and say 3 is going first, 2 is next, 1 and 4. And again, we want to be able to give them a few moments to say whether they want to be in the next part of the bid or not. And I think we will keep everybody honest. They will do their best job at keeping the cost close and without trying to gouge anybody.
Not participated in any of those. Be interesting to see it.
Yeah,
I've been in bid things on a lot smaller scale.
And it's been
Like
my first
WVU
time that you allow
Sports
people to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, typically, once the bids are handed
So when
in,
they come in, they hand the bids in at the deadline.
Yep.
They can't alter or change it after that.
correct.
Because I
Once
was
they-
wondering, I handled a bidding on a project with the university. And they flew some envelopes into me at the airport out here, told me to go up and make a present. And I was to watch and see who was there to bid.
Yep.
And then I had to make that bid. That was the bid.
Yep.
Without hearing what they were going to bid. They just wanted to know who was there.
Yep.
But I had 2 alternatives, high, medium. I just wondered if somebody's sitting there in a hearing and see a bid open. They say, oh gee, I have A, B, C envelopes, I'll go with this. They can't.
The only thing they can do, but I think it is important to go over these points. So all bids are due at exactly 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock, we stop. 10:01, we do not accept any further bids. Okay? So we open up the first round of whatever they are.
Mhm.
We allow people to remove bids for the reasons I stated before,
Mhm.
but no one can add a bid. They can't modify a bid. They just cannot do it.
Okay.
But they can remove one if they
Sure.
choose to.
Understand that. So they're
Without
bidding,
penalty.
they are bidding on their honest appraisal doing the project.
Yes.
Not based on what somebody else is doing.
Exactly.
Good deal.
You said without penalty.
And without penalty.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And so that's the first part of it that,
Are any of us allowed to attend that? Or that's
Yes.
It's open.
Was it on the 15th?
15. And
October.
we would encourage you.
We remind us about that, so I'll typically forget that, something's the 15th, so mine.
The mandatory pre-bid, and I can let you know, because you already sent those dates out to me.
Yep.
Is the 24th at 2 o'clock at Treasurer's office.
Yes.
That's Tuesday the 24th.
September.
Yeah, Tuesday the 24th.
Would you let us know
2 o'clock at
those
Treasurer's.
dates?
That's mandatory, so whoever's there will be the ones bidding or not bidding. They have to be there to bid.
What day's the bid opening? What day the bid opening?
The 15th of October.
At 10
Are
o'clock.
these always on Tuesdays apparently? Both of those dates are on
No,
Tuesdays.
honestly, what we do is we look at them and we have to do a minimum of 30 days. And then after that, we kind of look at what's being bid across the state. And we try not to compete with other bids because there are a lot of projects going on right now.
Yeah.
And so we try to make sure we don't bid 2 or 3 in the same day from other projects. So that's just shooting ourselves in the foot. Now, the pre-bid is a relatively simple, straightforward thing. We bring the people in, we talk about the bidding process, how it's funded, those type of things. We, as the engineers, will collect questions that they have, and we may respond to them on the spot, but most likely we will take those and respond to them in an addendum form. And so we'll ask anybody that's associated with the project not to engage in question and answer session because all questions have to go through the engineer in order to keep track and make sure all engineer or all contractors are playing on the same field.
Thanks, Doug. Any questions, guys?
You want
Well, we're moving along
to
really nicely.
tell them about, what is the gas company? I know they're coming into this thing kind of at the tail end of this. It kind of scared me. That's why I sent that email last night.
They're wanting to do
What
something.
is that going to do? They're trying to get ahead of us. Is that correct?
Yes,
Is that going to happen?
it can, and we can't stop. And so they sent us an email yesterday or the day before, basically saying, hey, guys, we're going to try to beat the paving of the city also on Pike and Main that the DOH is going to do. And we're going to start sometime in January and try to get this complete. Can we meet and talk about the types of restoration and stuff? No. Typically, that means that the gas company is trying to come in and get in before we do,
We get stuck.
and then we have to do restoration.
Oh,
The problem with this is, at this late in the game, it's gonna be a problem if that happens. Number two, my biggest concern is, they're gonna have already looked at where is the open spot. And it could now cause a potential problem with where a line gets located. We've met with them before to try to talk through these things. But there is no way for us to go through a redesign on anything at this point until.
That's,
Yeah,
that,
So
that, that
when you
was my
say a
major
spot, they
concern.
could lay their line in a place maybe we're looking at or something.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah, because we designed our project based on the current location of
of the gas
gas.
lines.
When you say
What
we
can we
can't,
do about that?
yeah, that's my question too, Mr. President. Can't the DOH, it's in DOH roadway, right?
Yeah.
We have to get the DOH permission.
They gotta do permit as well.
They have their permit.
Yeah, they have to do it as
Yeah,
well.
that's their
Yeah.
permit.
They want to do it as well. The DOH could look at it and go, you guys got a problem.
Boy, that's some teamwork there.
Yeah, it is. And the real problem with the gas line is the shallowest of all three. So if you're building this, the thing is you always want to put the sewer down the deepest. You bring your water line in and then you do the gas line. But the gas company may or may not say, nope, I'm going to go in for the premium spot right off the bat. And you got.
Well, let's have them resurface the whole street, okay? And even we have to go back in, let them feel the pain. I'm just kidding.
Well, we have a meeting set up with them next Wednesday, I believe,
Yes.
with the gas company to talk about these details and what we intend to do and try to head off this thing before it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
I just want you to answer my question. I'm not clear on your answer. DOH will not help us with this sequencing.
In 30 years, I've not seen them lift a finger like that. And we have run into this multiple times.
When I got that, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I got the email yesterday and I immediately got alarmed. That's when I sent it to you and Steve.
Wow.
And I didn't realize Steve was actually on the first one, but
Yeah.
I was so excited. That's why I said, I'm like, we gotta get on this because my first thing was they're gonna put that in a different area and our project's already designed.
Yeah.
And been approved.
But again, different approval agencies, and again, talking about the DOH, they don't, in my experience with them is they don't try to govern that, they don't try to dictate any part of it unless it conflicts with some problem they have, you know, with their storm line, their drain, their something.
But wait a minute, because they approved our
Our
Lanes.
placement and everything, haven't they?
first. Now they're coming in behind us.
It doesn't matter.
But even if the state approves what we're doing, the late placement of the lines and all that, and all of a sudden somebody come in and alter.
Conflicting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the DOH, and this is a.
Hopefully they'll work with us, the gas company. We're just kind of going through these
And
scenarios.
again, that's why.
We don't know. We're not bad mouthing.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, I'm
And I don't
not.
wanna be
I
jumping to
understand that.
conclusions, but
Well, we have to be
I
aware.
guess we'll see when we meet with them. We just need to share our design with them on
I think they
Wednesday
need
and
to
say,
the cost.
you need to stay away from these areas.
Get a free ride.
I mean,
Conflict adjacent, Doug.
Yeah, I'm sure. You guys could get
I
more
think we
information,
can-
and get back to
I
us.
just,
We got some time.
them coming to the table late just makes me nervous.
It's just part of the game.
Okay, well, let's move on because we can just talk about this forever. Okay.
And I don't have, do you have anything to add color to that?
No, we're, really happy to be getting this ad in the paper. And once the bids are open, we'll have plenty to do to get the contracts awarded and all of that, but, just kind of enjoying the, that we're here.
I'll raise my hand and say me too.
I can see her going, well,
Yeah.
glad that's done.
Yeah.
So on our
So,
way. All
very
right.
good. We're in a good place right now, guys. We're really excited about this and anxious all at the same time, but we got a team assembled here. This is gonna be a success. All right, Snake Hollow Road. We know we got some new developments on this, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Steve has brought you up to speed on what we discussed there. I think it was last week.
Yeah, we went back and Steve, met with your staff to talk about the potential of changing some line size to help out. And bottom line is we can put in, I believe it's some additional 6 inch, which will allow us to move a fire hydrant closer into the neighborhood. And then the remainder of it will be 2 inch. It sounds like we will only need a couple of these booster stations instead of needing a booster station for every single home that's out there. So a good movement on that part. And again, moving fire protection a little further into that road area. Yeah.
It was a good meeting. I said, you know, when we moved that out there, the hydraulics of it, like he said, instead of everybody needing their individual pumps, we only have to have just a couple there toward the end.
Which can service them all.
And they've got fire protection out
Well,
there.
that's the big thing too. Anything else in Snake Hollow? All right, let's move on.
Nothing else there, so,
7th Street.
Wolf Summit Center, you don't mind, we're gonna move out to the end of the agenda, we're gonna do an executive session for that.
How about 2nd Street?
Just skip Second Street pump station.
Did I do that again?
That was the next one.
I do that every time.
All right, Second Street, the quick one on that is, I've had a couple of phone calls with, Tom Brown and your staff. He's had some conversations with, Jeff Adler, who is the guy who really did your original kind of telemetry stuff and talked about setting this pump station in there. They've asked me to hold up on the pump station until we have a chance to sit down and talk about this. Because part of it is we're all kind of looking at this going, the costs are starting to get, in my personal opinion, a little out of control.
Well, that's the way we feel, guys, right?
Yeah. Because
You
the
start
moment we
way
started
up.
moving this pump station down to a different location, the whole issue with having to do the, potential, slip area, needing to do a potential, retaining wall. We'll also have to put in a road to get access to this, which means that it's more than just a simple, 20 by 30 spot for a booster station off of Mr. Angotti's property. It becomes much more intrusive. We're pulling back and going, we were, it's starting to get into the neighborhood of $1 million worth of work. and it just
It's
seems.
almost double the price.
Yes, yeah, and so let's take a look. I wanna meet with, we're gonna have a conversation with myself, Tom, and Jeff Adler, make sure we're all on the same page. And then I wanna have a second conversation with your staff, just to make sure we're all on the page there as well. And that we've all got the right scope and we're focused on the right target here.
Right.
So, again, I do apologize for it taking so long, but I want to make sure we get this thing right. Want to make sure you guys are getting value for your money on this. And again, it's just creep because of some circumstances out there.
Yeah, once we creeped over the $1 million, let's had a conversation
Yeah.
on that.
They got our attention.
We need to step back and look at this a little bit more because it's going to be cost prohibitive for us to do this. It's just not going to be worth it. So
I think there are some options out there, but I want to make sure they work for you guys before we go any further.
So I can skip it. I did that last time. All right, Wolf Summit. We're going to Wolf Summit Energy Center. We're going to
That'll be an
push that to
executive
the
session.
end. We're going to get an executive session. All right, so we tabled this item last time to give our general counsel some time to do some research on the leak adjustment policy. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to you to see.
My opinion remains the same as it was last time, Mr. President, that it's important for us to have a policy that encourages our customers to maintain their indoor water using plumbing facilities. And staff has an opinion on this, and Jason's accurately conveyed that opinion. I think this is a policy discussion that's worth, and a stance that I think it's worth the board taking. In the end, as we've always discussed, we know this is not just funny money. This is, if a customer costs us an expense because they don't care to fix their toilet,
They're gonna pay.
somebody else pays for
Yeah, that's
it.
the way it is now.
And that's, so I don't recommend a change to the policy that we have currently in place, which includes that eligibility criteria. You are not eligible for a leak adjustment if you have a leak in a water facility in your house that's not hidden.
Yeah,
So the
right.
other time we will give leak adjustments.
They got a leaky commode, you ignore it, so.
That's right, or so
It's
running
not
water,
underneath the house where you can't see it or hear it.
and we'll help those customers.
Now, there is a catch-all here that if there are any circumstances that aren't covered by this policy, then it'd be forwarded to me for disposition. So there's your sort of catch-all for
It's a discretionary
right
judgment
So
that you don't
for-
have.
for anything in here that the policy is vague, it's not really clear, that it comes to my desk for disposition.
Do we, under the current policy, don't we still have the 2 possible leak adjustments?
That's correct, yes, that's one of the things that if you look in the order that they pushed back on. The recommendation from staff when it went to the administrative law judge, they did not award that. They said they pushed back on that 2 months. They said that's up to the agency to determine that. Because of what he said, there's repeat, that doesn't want to fix and it goes into 2, 3, 4, 5 months. No, that's 2 months is plenty. That's the month it's leaking.
And get it fixed.
Right,
Yeah,
2 months is plenty.
Okay, that would still be under the current.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I think if someone challenges us on this based on the case that Jason discussed, and by the way, PSC always says these cases are not precedential. Every set of facts stands on its own. And my recommendation is the board not, my specific recommendation on page 103, that strike through not be adopted. And they would continue to limit leak adjustments to those where the innocent customer could not have known where the water was being lost.
So we okay to vote on this as with the strikeouts and everything, we're okay to do it?
Is this still after the 2 months that you're talking about after you strike out, like someone that has a leaky commode and that's visible, but they just were unaware, but they got fixed within 2 months, within the 2 month period, would they still be able to get a leak adjustment?
No, I can't find it.
Because I know it's like visible, but they just may not be aware.
2 million pairs, let's see. Be eligible for a maximum of 2 billing periods.
That's it right there, it's at the
Yeah.
bottom.
It's the very bottom, it's the last one, last item on page 1.
Oh, okay,
It's still on
The
there.
last paragraph,
Okay.
it's still in there.
okay, as long as it's still, yeah.
It doesn't say 2, it just says 2 billing periods, that's what it is. And,
So your recommendation is to keep that second paragraph,
Yes,
so
sir.
what about over here where it was reworked? Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir. I
And you're
think
okay
that's
with
fine.
that?
That's a fine.
so the strike throughs, you're okay with the strike throughs that we have in here now?
I'm not okay with the first strike.
The
through,
second
Mr.
bullet.
President, with the second bullet, that's the paragraph that says that, customers are responsible for maintaining their.
Is this the one that has causing, excess lead hidden from view and all? Is that the paragraph you're talking about? Which one are you talking?
Yes, the second bullet
Yes.
says
Second bullet, not second.
that is not to be struck through, that is to remain.
We're
in
gonna keep
policy.
that?
Yeah, so we provide examples if it's a leaks underground, behind a wall, or in a crawl
Yeah,
space, not visible or obvious.
Yeah, it's difficult to penalize a customer when they really have no way.
Keep
of
that, but the
knowing.
strike,
Accept them out of their bills, they can see.
But if you hear the toilet running, you must act.
the strike through on the second page with the replacement paragraph underneath, he's good with.
Okay,
So you got the strike through, then you got the one underlined below that's going to take its place. He's okay with that.
Yeah,
That was the only two changes to the
About
law.
this adjustment on that where that's hidden, they don't know. But first of all, see your bill runs, just for thinking, $25 a month. All of a sudden you see it's at 35, 35, 38, 40, and so it keeps going on. Would you not have an obligation to check to find out if your habits are the same? Or you just let it go bad, since it's hidden?
That's an excellent
I
question.
mean, is there any period of time, even with a hidden one, that the flag would be their bill? I think it'd be.
We accept some duty too, Mr. President, and we do flag customers.
So we do
when
now.
see an unusual-
We do now.
some-
Once it gets, I think it's 20, like maybe like 25% higher than the normal usage, or, I don't know, it's.
Is it flagged some way? Is it automatic?
Yes.
We have a
flag?
report that kicks out.
Or it's flagged when we're doing the pre-bill audit,
Okay.
so they get,
I always thought our system was set up with this radio read so on that it would detect leaks and also high volume with the customer.
it does, but we actually have to go out and look,
One, you go out in person, but on the system itself. doesn't-
Well, in that case, it's on a monthly basis when we go get the readings.
Yeah.
It issues us to that.
You know, it's.
So it does not flag you like in the office here,
Not
daily,
8,000
some alarm says, hey, this person is excessive in their use, something's
No.
going on.
Yeah, because remember, that not all of our systems covered by the gateway.
But I thought when we bought that system, they said that was a capability we would have.
Well, we can do that, but we have to go out and search for it. It's not something that's just gonna give us an alert. We have to go out and
It's
look
not
at.
automated.
It's something you gotta look at every day, to be able to determine that.
When you say look at, you're talking about look at reports in your system.
I mean, you have to go in and pull up these accounts.
When you
and
say
look at
go out, I think you're physically going out to some.
Well, there's some instances like that, like
Like
you go into like Liberty Edition, Arlington and Glen Falls. Those theirs don't come into the gateway, so you would actually have to go out and get
I can
daily stuff
understand,
out
but
there.
things within the gateway,
Anything coming to the gateway, you could see on a daily
you can
basis.
see it. You gotta have some alert to say, go look, you just don't go running around and say, I think there's a leak out there somewhere. You have to have something to tell you. That's the billing thing or the usage thing.
So other than, of course, when you get the monthly readings come in, then it tells you, hey, this customer's used,
But I'm
you
talking
know,
about on a daily now basis, not monthly or whatever. I always thought this system's gonna be designed to alarm us. And we could be proactive and we could see a customer's, something's happening out in their system down to a half hour, 15-minute period.
well,
It alarmed us as saying, gee, some bells went off that we got a customer here that's really watered. But it's not set up that way.
no.
There's technology out there that would allow that.
Yeah, I thought we had that capability.
I don't know all the capabilities of that, but I can check. with
That was
Glenn.
one of the things when they sold us that, well, one thing, you'd be very proactive. You can tell the customer's got problems.
I recall that conversation.
And it'll flag us. It can tell us if a customer's having problems and we can be proactive was the word they use and call that person, say, hey, what's going
I know
on?
our system's only 60% covered by the.
Well, I
gateway.
understand that, but the people who are covered.
Right, now 40%, that's the ones he's talking about, have to drive out and get them.
Yeah, I understand, but everybody talking around me. The ones that are on the gateway,
Yeah,
that it doesn't flag those.
Well, it flags them, you just gotta go in and look, you gotta go in and look at it, you gotta go to the gateway and look.
You're missing my argument. I know you got to go in and look. What tells you to go in and look? What tells you to go in like
It's-
today? What
what is
tells you to
no
go in and look?
There's no alarm.
There's no alarm, but you gotta, it'll tell you in there, but you gotta go in and look.
I know, you see the
Well, why
talk
would you
around.
look?
Yeah. there's
We're
no reason
talking
to look.
about something alerts you to go look. You have nothing unless you have something, reason to
You're
look.
looking at something automated that automatically says, hey, Jason.
That's
Farrell.
what we were told, that would be
Yeah, Jason
automated.
Farrell, Doug
I'm not
Smith.
trying to argue with you, that's what they told us.
Sort of an alert.
We could be proactive, there'd be an alarm
Automatic.
that says, and then we know to go look.
I think that was marketed. I don't think the board chose that option.
I don't know, I don't remember, I thought it was part
I
of the
can, I
system.
can check with cloud, they know all the capabilities of the gateway system.
That would be nice.
And I
Of course,
can-
back when they
Feature.
sold us this thing.
Yeah, back to leak adjustment policy,
Yeah,
Mr. President.
Okay,
As we've discussed, my recommendation, and the thing I like about this is that it gives Jason something to push against, to talk to the customers about, and in the end, we're gonna do what's fair to the customers, because that's the bottom line.
exactly right, that's what
They
we.
always have an opportunity to talk to our general manager, they would always be able to explain themselves.
Well, we thought what they paid, they proposed to some was just way over top, would hurt our customers.
Well, and remember, you all have the option to adopt Public Service Commission's sample policy that's 200%.
That's what I'm saying, we thought that was too punitive.
That's a disservice to the customer.
Yes.
And this here, we're still made whole because they still have what it cost us to produce the water.
This is
So we're not out of anything.
This is a more fair approach to us
Right.
and the customer.
Right, because that 200%, that is a disservice to the customer. But we're probably one of the few agencies.
Hey, Paul, you're not
that actually
asleep
have
out
this
there, are you?
policy.
Got any questions, Paul?
But good work on this, Tim.
I think the policy was.
Look, Jason's.
Okay, so we're gonna adopt the policy
Teamwork.
as proposed, but leaving in that second bullet.
Second bullet.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
It's a motion to do that, Chad?
I make a motion that we
Approve it.
approve the leak adjustment policy, keeping the second bullet point in.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. I think that covers it, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir.
Second, Paul?
Second.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay, before we go into executive session, we've got employee report. Bob has got a couple things, and then you have anything? Oh, yeah, what's going on down at the Paul building? We can tell all that kind of stuff. All right, Bob, you got the floor.
Okay, GM give you guys the water quality,
Yeah,
whatever, anybody got any questions about those? I think the only thing that stood out was there was a 0 on the hardness on one of the residents, and that's because they have a softener.
Okay.
Other than that, everything looked really good. So no questions with that, we can go on.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, kind of what we've been doing, we've had the operators, actually physically calling, the customers, trying to find out what kind of, material they have on their side for a water line. We've called almost 900 people in less than a week, so, that's what they've been busy with. I want to thank Bobby and his staff, for helping with the grass around here while the operators are, making those phone calls. Also want to thank Bobby for, cutting the brush back, on the tank fences. Appreciate that. We fixed the valve down in the pit today that, it actually wouldn't shut all the way off. So we put a new one in there. That's what they did this morning. So other than that, I mean, everything's going along. We've been working, trying to get the inventory, from the customers.
That's been a big lift, and we got about probably 30-40%.
Probably, we started out like really well, and then, now we've been leaving messages and nobody calling back, so.
So, but once they complete that task, then Floods and Aaron are probably going to enter the data into the database and then print out what we're missing. Then Bob's going to send multiple crews out and then try our best to try to find in the meter well without potholing. Just quick look at it and see if we can figure it out, because we're up against the deadline of October the 16th. Have the inventory submitted into the state database, which will then report it up to the federal. So, it's looking good. We're going to meet the deadline. We're just trying not to have any unknowns. What we do, very few unknowns, but we know what unknowns we need to vote EPA. So that's where we are with that. So, Bob.
How you doing? Our guys been busy cleaning up down the pole building, got all that fence out.
Apparently they're gonna start this weekend putting fence in. We've been trying to clean up around here. Like I said, we helped Bob out. We knew he was busy.
What are you doing about all that Japanese knotweed and all that crap down there?
It's
It's
called,
growing, it's gone. How do you get rid of that?
can't tell you.
Well, I'm telling you, the reason I'm saying, because you know, I mean, it's very aggressive. It just grows right back.
It'll be a while.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but we went down and looked at it last week.
Oh, it's a lot different down there now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does, because he said.
And what about, the lean-to that we're gonna?
I'll
our staff's gonna build?
start on it next week. Gonna put a 30 by 50 lean-to down there, put the pipe in. Our guys.
I can't hear him, Jason.
He's going to do a 30 by 50 lean-to to put the pipe in. And it's
Right there where the fence was when you went in,
Yeah,
we're gonna put it on the left side.
Sure.
Because that pipe out, being exposed and stuff.
The elements and everything.
Deteriorates the quality.
Make it look fine, okay, look
It's a
like
great
that.
idea. We're gonna run electric to that building through the lights over there at night.
Yes, yeah, we talked about that yesterday at a staff meeting, and they're gonna run some conduit over there for that. Yeah, and we're also going to, when they're pouring up the concrete pad, because we're gonna do concrete flooring for that, the lean-to, we're gonna go ahead and pour a concrete deck across that bridge down there, and that was at the advice of, Paul. Gotta give him kudos. for
That may have to change.
He may have to change. What?
There's a beam that's bad.
Paul, did you hear that?
It moves when you go across it.
He said there's a beam they're gonna have to
So that
look at
wants
before they do that.
concrete base.
Probably just take it out and get a couple longer beams and dig it down, lay it in the wall top of it.
So the facility and result, we're gonna put a
I know to walk
concrete deck
across
across.
it.
Yeah, walking won't hurt.
I know, but I walk in the middle. I don't walk on the sides.
Any questions for staff? Jason, you have anything?
No, I'm glad you brought that up.
Put it there. Okay. Well, with that, then.
Motion to go into executive
Yes,
session.
Motion, executive session.
Okay, we have a motion to go into an executive session for attorney-client privileges. So on. So, Paul, you second that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much.